Hello and welcome to the Money Flow Stock Market Review and Forecast. I am your host, Dr. BJ Love, and I'll be bringing you today's forecast for Monday, October 13th, 2025, here at the Money Flow Stock Market Review and Forecast. We use time-tested methods and indicators that helps us to navigate these markets with confidence, calmness, and clarity. Now, the major averages rebound after Friday's losses. The market posture also shifts into a neutral configuration. Investors swayed with government shutdown pessimism in response to President Trump's threats to increase tariffs on China. This is the noise that we're talking about. Many times there are news items, especially when spoken by the president or the chairman of the Fed. News triggers knee-jerk reactions in the market, and that is the noise. And that's why we say charting separates the signal from the noise. So this was some noise coming from the president. And then after he said that, over the weekend, Trump posted that the trade situation with China would be just fine. Then all of a sudden, the market rebounded and was a broad-based. The rebound was broad-based, especially with almost every sector moving higher. Crude oil prices nudged higher but remained under $60 a barrel. And you probably have noticed over the past few weeks that your price at the pump has been lower because of this crude oil prices being below $60 a barrel. Now, gold and silver also rallied, making new highs. Wow. And the Dow Jones Industrial rose 558 points to 46,068, while the S&P 500 gained 102 points and settled at 6,655. The NASDAQ jumped 490 points, finishing at 22,695. The small cap Russell 2000 outperformed, surging 2.8%. Now, Brett, the heartbeat of the market, was positive. The VIX dropped 2.63 and closed at 1903. Now, over the weekend, the VIX had broken through that 20-point threshold that we always talk about when we do the broadcast here, and it wasn't able to sustain that threshold above 20, dropped back down to 19, and that's why we see, of course, as we reiterate on every broadcast here, as long as that VIX, aka the fear gauge, stays below 20, the market tends to grind higher, and that is what we have been noticing here. Crude oil prices added 0.74 and closed at $59.64 a barrel. As I forestated, it stayed below that $60 a barrel, and you, like I said, have been noticing a reduction in gas prices at the pump. Now, gold prices jumped 125.4 points and finished at 4,125.80 an ounce. Silver prices increased by 1.45 and closed at $51.50 per ounce, new all-time high. And silver prices have increased over 78% since the beginning of the year, and that is one of our most profitable investments that we have been in all year, is the precious metals, gold and silver. Now, Bitcoin closed the session at 115,707. Now let's go right into the charts, and we can see exactly what is the behavior of the market is long-term and short-term at this particular time. So we always go to our 4 grid so we can see our long-term posture for the past. Oh, let's look at it now. We're going to maximize these charts for since May the 19th. We have been enjoying every week the market just going up, 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 and we have our uh, green background, which is our proprietary software that lets us know when we are in a bullish posture. So as far as the long-term view, we are in a bullish posture. We did see a reduction last week and a little bit this week in the price of the S&P 500. So we are cautious right now. We are in a neutral stance where we have been in a bullish posture since May. So we're just watching and observing to see what takes place now after that traumatic drop that we saw on last week. Now that is the S&P 500. We're going to look now at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and you can see, excuse me, that we are still above rising moving average, even though we had a significant drop on last week. We kind of rebounded this week, and our background is still green. So we're a little bit cautious because we see our confirming indicator here, the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence, is starting to flatten out and give us an early warning that we may have seen a top in the rally here, but we would just wait, watch, and see how it progresses. That is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now we're going to move on to the tech-heavy NASDAQ. And as you can see here, also since the month of May, we have been moving up, 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 up. We did have a little bit of we hit a top and a bottom here last week, showing us that we ought to be cautious at this particular time with the market and continue to wait, watch, and see how it develops. But for right now, we're holding on to our neutral stance where we have been in a bullish stance for May, June, July, August, September, and into the first half of October. So that is the NASDAQ, and now we're going to look at the Russell 2000. And we see that each week we've been above this rising moving average. That is our mantra. As long as the price action on the long-term chart is above the rising moving average, we maintain our positions. We don't panic. We don't flee. We don't cry. We don't pout. We don't doubt. We just maintain our position. So we did take a very hit, I would call it a body punch, on last week when the markets fell on the news by the president that they were going to increase the tariffs on China. And then the very next day, he turned around and said, our trade condition with China is going to be all right. And then everybody jumped back in and began to cause the market to rally. So that's where we are with the market posture. We have been bullish for months, and at some point it had to stop. So we kind of put the brakes on, and we're in neutral right now. Not saying that we're bailing out of the market, but we're in neutral right now, and we're going to wait, watch, and see how the rest of the week develops. Now, we want to go to those indices that we mentioned in our introduction. And we're going to look at our intermediate term charts. And to see exactly where we are, this is what I use now. It's called the triple time frame chart. We use a weekly chart, and we use a daily chart, and we use a half a day chart. So what has really been knocking it out of the park has been the precious metals. You see silver. This is our weekly chart. We'll go ahead and expand it on our triple screen. And it's been up since June of this year. Starting out at, we got our signal at $31 or our SLV, and it's moved up to a high of 47.44. Going on to the daily chart, you can see just nothing but a strong uptrend for silver, and we're remaining in that trade. The trade that we have for silver is basically the stock called KGC. This is a stock that we really like. We began our journey with silver when we got the signal back in the beginning of the year, as I forestated in the introduction. Silver has moved up almost 80% since the beginning of the year, starting out here at about $9, moving on up to a high of $25.91. This is Kinross silver, and it has been very good to us. Now, when we look at our gold play, we like USAS. This is a penny stock, according to the general guidelines. We got our signal here at $1.28. It has since moved up to a high of $4.60. So if you can put a percentage increase on that, you're talking about moving almost up 4 times. So we'll just conservatively say that we're up 300% on USAS. And that is the beauty of this system. It helps us to find these gems, these diamonds in the rough that quickly give us some 30, some 60, some 100 fold. So this is 300%. I don't know what stock you may have in your portfolio that have given you 300% return since the beginning of the year. So that is our precious metals. We're going to look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has been flat for the most part, but it's starting to show some signs of life. This is our weekly chart. It has been going sideways. This is our daily chart. It's been moving down for a moment, but it's not out yet. So we're going to keep an eye on it. Wait, watch and see. Our Bitcoin play. Here is a Bitcoin play, BITF. Check it out. We got the signal here in September. And since September, it has moved from $1.45 to $5. So we're talking about roughly 400% return since September. Oh my God. Where else can you find value like this on the internet for free? Now that is Bitcoin and precious metals that we have been very successful with. So there you have it. Every day and every way we get better and better. Every day and every way we grow more prosperous, successful, and victorious. And God's love continues to surround us and follow us.